now because nobody's instantly in the live. But hello to those who are coming through the door. Or not, and none of this is working, and it's just going to be me talking to myself, which isn't much different than most places, most time, most days. So yeah, welcome to another Wednesday. This is 2 in a row. If I do 3 of them, it becomes a habit. I'm pooped today. That's all right. We're going to make this happen. Hey, hello, Natalie. Good to see you. Natalie Davison, the east coast of Canada. Salt of the earth on that side of the country. If you ever get a chance to go out to the Maritimes in Canada, take your pick. PEI, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Newfoundland. I don't know who calls it that. Maybe they call it that over there. Newfoundland. It's awesome. Music, as always, brought to you by AidenTaylorMusic.com, who's also our oldest son. For all your audio needs, remixes, or lo-fi like this. It's too cool for me. Like, it's just, I don't know where the talent came from, but he's got it. You need podcast music, you need video, you need stingers, you need song. Maybe you're a singer. Maybe you need a producer or mixer. Aiden Taylor. We take care of our own here. Hope you enjoy. This is called Sweet Pea. He's on Spotify, Apple Music, and any other place you listen to your music. So welcome. Hey, all right. We've got multiple things going on here. Cape Breton. I like that. That's awesome as well. MS, I believe, would that be Mississippi? I'm sorry, sometimes my acronyms in the U.S. are off, but hopefully, welcome anyway, Sydney, and Don, welcome to you. And Rodney's from Fullerton, Cali, 6 miles north of Disneyland. We were out there fairly recently, just over a year ago, before everything kind of shut down. We were in Anaheim, at the Anaheim Hilton there for NAMM, National Association of Music Merchants. So it's just the greatest thing of all time. So we quite enjoyed it. We were there when they opened the Star Wars area of Disneyland, so you could almost feel the anticipation just a little down the road of it going on. And yeah, this is really what it's all about here. And Sydney, yeah, it is Mississippi. Awesome. That's good to hear. Thank you. All right, I'm going to just move some stuff around here. You're going to get out of the way. You're going to come up here. Yeah, so it's what traffic and weather on the ones. This is Scott Stratton on 97.7 Hits FM. That's our St. Catharines station here. It's the Rock station, or was the Rock station. I haven't listened to it in a while. Weather's going to be whatever it is in your area right now, and traffic should be less than normal. I think that's accurate. Yes. And Andrew knows OH. IO. One of my favorite events of all time was the Travel Tourism, the Governor Tourism event, travel event for destinations in Ohio. And I simply just got on the stage, and my opening was OH, and the whole crowd just yelled IO back, and we were just off and running. So much love. Much love to that, and much love to all of you. My man James Dodkins from the land of England. Y'all into customer experience, go look up my man James Dodkins. Guy's not only a literal rock star, but he's also a hell of a speaker, hell of a mind when it comes to customer experience. Say hello. And Peter, good to see you from Cape Town. Always nice when you pop in. Good to see you. Hey, there's my man. There's Abhishek Maskey from Kathmandu, Nepal, coming back for back-to-back sessions. So is Peter. So there's a few people here that are multiple weeks in a row. Well, good. Well, you're here, so you're going to get the juice and get the goods. So since you're already here and you made it all reasonably on time, I'm not going to ramble anymore and do my radio calls. Although, again, my goal is to have my own, when I was 12, was to have my own radio show, talk show, game show, whatever it was. Really, I was inspired by Monty Hall on Let's Make a Deal. It was just ridiculous. Everybody got to be ridiculous in costumes and everything else, and Monty just got to be Monty with that Bob Barker type of mic. Is a Bob Barker mic a Monty Hall mic, or is it Monty? Anyway, I think everything just goes to Bob, which is fine. Let's get into the goods of this and talk today about content and going viral, but also the importance of certain things about it. We've painted ourselves into a corner when it comes to content creation, the world of content marketing and inbound marketing, and it warms my heart. It warms my heart that these things happen, and I'm going to address Brooks here for a second. Hello from Panama. That's so cool. Any plans for a new book on marketing is a great book? Yes. One of the problems with writing a lot of books is that some people don't know if we have a lot or not. And so Allison has written 6. So Allison and I are the co-authors of the book, but Allison is the actual writer and the skill of writing. I'm the one that is the yapper and the yeller from stage. So there's 6 books total we have. So there's 4 business books when it comes to unmarketing, unselling, and unbranding, which you'll see right in the slide actually right here. And then the book of business, awesome and unawesome, which is one half is bad. You flip the book over, one half is good stuff. And then we have 2 fun books, QR Codes, Kill Kittens, and Jackass Whisperer. When or will there be another book? Well, there's always another book potentially coming. Hopefully we get to do one that kind of amalgamates all 3 on books plus the book of business awesome together, updates everything, and it's one kind of, I won't call it the unbible, but something like that where everything is together. And Lance is back for his second in a row from Campbellville, Ontario. Did I ever tell you, Lance, that I actually worked in Campbellville? A buddy of mine managed a restaurant with the Opera Emporium, which I don't know if it's still there, but it was a place you get English breakfast with tea and scones, but it was ice cream all day on the weekend. Campbellville was wonderful and wonderful place for antiquing. Is that the Berkshires equivalent to us? I guess. I don't know. But anyway, good to see you. And Ryan's back again as well. Good to see you, Ryan. Let's get into this now. We're going to talk about content. We're going to talk about going viral and kind of letting it go on LinkedIn. But this can be also applicable to anywhere and anything. That we've painted ourselves in a corner with content, which is like we've told people how important content marketing is. And it warms my heart. It's literally right in my lane of this type of stuff. Content marketing and how getting inbound inquiries is everything unmarketing is about. It's positioning yourself in front of your target market. So when they have a need for your product or service, they choose you without hesitation and without consideration for competition. That's what unmarketing is. It's positioning. It works best when you are a service or brain-based business. What I mean by that is you're paid for your the intellectual side of things, your service maybe. So you are from real estate, insurance to counseling to personal trainer to speaker, all type of things where it's that type of process where positioning is really important. But the problem is we've done like most things. We've convinced people to do content, and then we've gone so far the other way, which is like not only do you have to create content, you have to create unending content and expiring content, meaning you make it and it's dead in the water in 48 hours or 24 hours or whatever, depending on what we're doing it. So we're going to get into that today. And we're going to talk about, but I really want to get you the fundamental principle of why we're doing this and about content and why the shift to why content means even more so in the past 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, and now and going forward. And that really comes down to the sales funnel. Now, a lot of times in the sales funnel, what would happen back in the day, and I mean 12 years ago, back in the day, especially in the B2B space, that sale were very simple, right? We have the prospects, we'd have our market, and we'd have the sales team. And then we'd have people that were we wouldn't call it sales enablement back then, but marketing and try to drive some curiosity. But whatever that was, it would go around and then your market would raise their hand and they would come into your funnel. Give me more information. Tell me what you know. Teach me. And the salespeople could keep stuff very close to the vest. They could kind of gatekeep the content and say, okay, let me give you the scoop now. Let me just get hush here. And they give it to you. When it's all kind of malarkey a lot of the times too, where salespeople were really good at selling the exact thing they had, not in consideration of the overall impact of the client's business or anything else. It was like off the shelf type of selling type of stuff where no matter what, if you're a hammer or if, and it's just, I can't even remember the term now. All you see are nails, I guess. But it's different now, right? We now have this world of the sales cloud, okay, where all this content, all this information, whether it be from a biased source like a vendor or a neutral source like a review site, but those aren't all neutral, by the way, but those type of things, right? We trust that. We trust the cloud, okay? We trust the cloud, and we trust that Clint Pulver, my man, is in here. One of the most talented speakers I know and one of the best humans I know. So that's 2 for 2 right there, young man. So this world of the Sales Cloud it's different, right? We all talk about in the cloud nowadays and how that all works, but this is where now we can go get our information. And people in sales and corporations and companies and brands and even individuals, you're no longer the keeper of the info. And we still don't want to really give a lot of that away. And that's what content is. You're giving away information. And if you keep all the information to yourself, it's fine, but it's not going to get spread or shared. And we're going to talk about today about getting it spread and shared and why it does not. But it's important to realize that this is where a lot of the decision is made. Actually, 60%. 60% in a B2B atmosphere. And if you're B2C watching right now, don't just say, okay, well, that's B2B. This is human. B2B, B2C, it's still person to person. It's still the way that we're talking to individuals. We still have the brains. We're still humans. We're still the same species. Okay, so please do 2 things for me, by the way, if you could, when you're looking at your own business, especially if you're an individual that runs the business and you have the ability to be flexible and test and try things. Don't close your blinders off because it's not your industry, not your vertical, or not your segment, B2B or B2C. Because I've learned more from ridiculously opposite industries from mine. It's actually where my best ideas come from for a lot of the marketing stuff that I try out, is because they're not overtired in my vertical. I try not to tell the same stories on stage. We try not to put them in the books. We try to find stuff that's not out there, that is outside of the norm. So when it comes to marketing, 10 years ago, we didn't want to focus on things like Southwest or Zappos or even Amazon or those type of things, or Apple, right? We wanted to focus on the things we found. And when you start looking for that, you start finding more examples, more case studies, because one of the problems as well is that you have this world of overused case studies sometimes, and we try to fit whatever that case study is into our narrative. But also that when you see a case study like about Apple, I can't relate to that. I can't relate to what Steve Jobs is doing. Look, I love Apple. I got Mac right here. We are an I family with things, but you cannot relate to that. I can't relate to Steve Jobs. I can't relate to Bezos. I can't relate to Musk. And that's okay. You can still learn from them. You can still get it from them. But when I want practical advice, I don't need to know the 5 things billionaires do before 6 a.m. because I'm sleeping in my bed. And then I wake up. I don't want to know. That's not for me. I just want practical advice. I can go get inspiration, and nothing about motivation and inspiration or the giant leadership type of things is great. You can do that on demand. But day to day, I want to learn from people that are at a level that I can relate to. So one of the ways that we look at things here is one of the things I did when the shutdown, I redid everything. Okay, and we did it ourselves. We did the new site. We changed our podcast host and our newsletter. We rebuilt it from scratch so I could be extremely familiar with all the tools today because it wanted to be relatable. And that's why when we're setting up the academy and everything else, we try to make advice at levels of saying, look, you have no budget, this is what you can do. You have a little budget, this is what you can do. I always advise to hire experts to do things for you, designers and copywriters and this type of thing. But what if you can't? And that's where we start. And if you can't right now, you learn the base of each thing, and it's really important. And when it comes to this type of stuff, not only is it 60% of a buying decision in B2B, not only is that a good hard number at a good study by Forrester, but there's another number, which is actually 68% of B2B executives rather not talk to the salesperson of that vendor until they've gotten all the information they need beforehand. They literally don't want to talk to you. Okay, they don't want to talk to you until they know what's going on. Because honestly, I don't trust a salesperson from B2B either until I've done some research. I do want to talk to them. When I want to drill down, when I get to that point of the funnel, but not until then. But even that, we think, okay, so then we feed our funnels, feed off the sales cloud, which is true. But what we don't think is once we land a customer, once we get them in our funnel, we think our job is done, but it's not. The cloud is still there. So even when you get a client, and this is a whole other issue we have to do a whole other program on, which is about treating current clients and customers not as well as the ones you're trying to recruit. But this is what happens because they're always susceptible to seeing what's out in their cloud. If you're not up to date on products or the industry or changes, there's a vendor who is. That's why continual learning, continual content, continual creation is important to an extent. And we'll get into why that means today. So what I mean by this is gatekeeping your content, not having content as an integral part of your sales funnel attraction, your marketing, your sales enablement is deadly to a business. And it's mostly ego-based, right? This is Brad here. I'm sorry, any Brad on here. I'll say Chet or Bryce. It's more of Bryce probably. Chad? Let's go Chad. This is what it looks like when you're gatekeeping your content, okay? The lake is the content, and that's your little gate in front of you, and you're going to hold it close to the vest. It's not how this works to me. This is not how we should be doing this. If we are confident in our knowledge, we should be putting out the content in it. We should be showing what we have. Now, when we do put out the content, sometimes it doesn't get any traction, and sometimes it doesn't work well. And that's why I want to talk to you today mainly about the third circle. This is our concept we came up with of why things spread and how. And I want to walk you through this today about it. But I need to cover a few things beforehand, which is very, very basic, okay? Going viral isn't a strategy, okay? Just like making money isn't a strategy. Making money is not a business. It's the result of hopefully fairly decent business. Going viral is not a strategy. It is a result of luck, timing, skill, effort that can happen, right? This is the issue. It is not a campaign. It is not a push. It is not something that you can just say to do. And if anybody tells you, I want to go viral, just send them a freeze frame of this. Did you get it? Did you do the screenshot? This is what I mean. You can't just go viral. You have no control of it. Look, I ran one of the most successful viral video companies in the mid-2000s, anywhere on the planet. We couldn't make things go viral either. We tried our best, but we can't guarantee it'll be perpetually seen or perpetually watched or used. Okay, and one of the things about viral too, for everybody here who's part of brands, including your own, and obviously everybody here is part of some kind of brand, I think, one way or the other, or is trying to be, and you're looking for a job somewhere. But most things that go viral, I mean really viral, aren't from the brands themselves. If you take a look at all the things that go viral in recent memory, okay, it doesn't matter if it's the Ice Bucket Challenge or the Chewbacca Mask Lady, these are, or Ocean Spray and Dogface, 420 Dogface, 2008. I wonder what that discussion was like in the corporate headquarters of Ocean Spray. I think 420 is his address. You're like, okay. Shout out to 420 Dogface 208 and getting a new truck and a lifetime supply of Ocean Spray. And this is exactly it. And Dean, longtime supporter of all things on marketing. Most of the time, things go viral for the wrong reasons. Exactly. Dean, by the way, drop me a line. We want to give you access to all the things in the Marketing Academy when they come out forever. You're such a lifelong supporter, man. We really appreciate you. So this stuff, now also there are exceptions, okay? And this is it. And a good question, and Epic's always great with the questions. Does it mean that influencers can help us get viral? Yes and no. So I'll get through the third circle here, and I'll tell you where the stumbling block is. And then you'll see, so yes and no. But this is the thing. So a lot of these things go, and there are exceptions to the rule. Yeah, brand stuff can go viral. And I don't know if you're in marketing because you have not seen, the dunk in the dark. Obviously, people hold that up and say, well, look, you can. Well, no, if you knew the back end of that, the amount of time, it took a huge amount of time and effort and money to make it look on impulse. So there are examples, but the majority of the time, this stuff goes viral and we don't make it. But viral doesn't have to be a billion views. Okay, it's just spreading beyond your reach. That's really what it is. So let's look at that and where it goes. So this is you. And you're going to create or curate content. We're going to get into the differentiations of those after third circle here. But it's important. You're going to post something. So let's keep it to right here, to LinkedIn. And we'll talk about where we're going to go. So we'll post something on LinkedIn. When we post something on LinkedIn, that's when it gets shout out to our first circle. Okay? Our first circle are the ones we have immediate access to. They literally are the ones we can reach out to, and the ones that will get fed up part of our post. This could be friends, this could be staff, this could be followers, your family. It doesn't matter. You have a relationship, whether that's a relationship, whether that's personal, it's friends and family or staff, or you have a relationship virtually where it means they have raised their hand, they are your connection on LinkedIn, or they follow you on LinkedIn, whatever that is. But this is it. So they put it out there, but they don't put it out there to all of your people. They just put it out to some. Okay, and the algorithm then looks at it and says, okay, this fraction, this percentage of Scott's following, look at this, and depending on the percentages of how they engage with it, we'll feed it out to more on marketing's first circle. Okay, are they reacting? Are they loving it? Are they doing one of those reactions? Are they sharing it? Okay, so all those things you see people talking about, hey, especially when they put it in the post, where they like comment this or reply this or choose your reaction to this or share this. Yes, they want to get the word out, but that's also one is saying, hey, it helps the algorithm. And as soon as a study comes out on a marketing site about if you ask for engagement on the post, it increases engagement 25%. Boom, you get 25,000 people on LinkedIn adding, please share in all caps, because that's what they learned, which is upsetting sometimes. Personally, I save my requests, my begging for sharing for ones that need it, like causes, amplifying causes, trying to raise money for something. That's when I'll use that. I think it's something we should hold in our pocket until we really need it. Otherwise, if everything you post has the same thing as a YouTube intro video, what's up, everybody? Please like, subscribe, share, click the little bell here, and comment, and blah, 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 right? I understand, again, why they do it. They do that's this exact same reason, by the way. That's the same reason on YouTube as it is on LinkedIn. Okay, the reason why they're asking you to do that is because they've heard about the algorithm for that site. Okay, and here's the thing. This is the goal, is that they want you to stay as long as possible on that site. So LinkedIn wants you to stay on LinkedIn as long as possible. YouTube, same thing. They all do. It's attention. It's the time on these type of things. Paula wants to know, is this going to be recorded to watch later? Yeah, it's recorded right now as it goes, and it'll be on LinkedIn, and I keep it there, so no worries. Abisek says, I read somewhere save a post also helps us getting a higher reach on Instagram. Yeah, and that's the thing. Any action by your following trigger something, for the most part, trigger something to the algorithm of any of these sites. I'm talking Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it. Engagement, and different engagement can be weighted differently, but that's what it's looking at. And that's why people say save a post or do this or do this. And that's how all of this works. Yeah, they're always doing it. That's the exact point. These are all businesses, okay? And all of these businesses, okay, are to make money. And the way they make money is keeping you there. It's your data and your time. That's what it is. That's how it works. The more you're there, the more you're scrolling, the more ads I can serve, the more data I get, the more precise thing I have about you. Okay, so when we go here, if it resonates, then it'll send it to more friends, more staff, more followers, more family. Okay, but the algorithm is looking at things like this. Is it relevant to these followers? Does it resonate with them? How recent is the post? And then where does the content reside? And this is one of the residents. Where it resides is really, really, really important. Okay? This is one of the reasons why you see people on LinkedIn make a post to an article or a video on YouTube, and they'll say, link is in the comments. Or link is in the first comment. The reason they do that is because they don't want to put a third-party site link in the actual post itself, because most social sites downgrade that post in the algorithm because it's encouraging people to leave the site. That's it. That's why they change it. That's why. So if I share a site that I do want to get traction on because I want to amplify it or do whatever the reason is, I'll put the link in the comment and I'll make a picture of something in there in the post itself. And then I'll say link and comment because it really can downgrade that stuff because you're sending people away from these sites. Now we have first circle problems though. And this is where we have to realize this. Okay. That this is where it happens. Sometimes these people all have bias. Their sharing can be conditional. Now, it doesn't mean conditional meaning it's all negative. It's all that it's all malicious, but it's all conditional. Okay, your first circle knows you or knows of you. That's bias already. There's already context to it. Okay, that's the issue. So either also if they work for you, or they're a vendor of yours, you kind of pay them, right? That is not an unbiased opinion. That is not sharing something for the pureness of the content necessarily. Now, you could share something. I'm not saying you're sharing something because you have to, although some people are forced to share certain things, part of their job. But I mean, would you have shared that if you had nothing to do with the brand? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. A lot of times no. And by the way, if you think something is funny, okay, please don't ask your staff unless you have a relationship with them where they are brutally honest with you. Because if you wonder every time you go to a staff party or when we did, or people laugh, and then you use the joke at an event or without people that don't work for you and they don't laugh, it's not because they lack a sense of humor. It's because you're not funny. And the people laughing at you have been paid to laugh. That's why they're laughstitutes. You pay them to laugh. Be careful. We, including myself, may not be as funny as we think we are. Maybe they love you. Now, this could be literally, it could be your mom sharing your content, your family, your significant other. It could be any of that. Or they love you. They're a fan. They just love everything you do. Right? That's how it works. And then it could be context. Maybe I did a post and I mentioned man bun in it, but you can't see it or whatever that. Well, for people that know me, right, they know I joke about my man bun. Okay, but if you didn't know that, well, what does that even mean? There's no context. Context, if it's not encased in the post itself, doesn't carry with the content. It doesn't carry with the content. So be careful with that as well. Well, maybe they want something. I had a person on Twitter back in my heyday, back in 2011, 2012, 2013. And he would only ever engage with my content, like share it or even reply when I could know exactly, I could time my watch to it when he wanted something from me. So I would see a retweet, and back in the day, it was a manual retweet, so it was a heck of a lot of work. You had to type a few extra characters, but it was manual. It wasn't easy to button, boom, boom, boom. You had to put RT space, their username, their handle, and if it was a long handle, forget about it. It takes up too many characters because we had 140 characters, including their handle and the RT and the space and everything. You all don't understand. It was so much. So you had to write tweets under 120 characters on 140. Anyway, sorry. Flash the past. So anyway, he would only write to me when he's about to ask me something. And he would send it 10 minutes after he retweeted it. And the DM would always start off with, hey, I loved your tweet. Hey, would you mind sharing this for me? That's conditional. That's always conditional. Okay? I don't do quid pro quos. I don't do things like that. You share content because it resonates with you. You think it'll help your audience, your following. You enjoy it. You want to amplify something, or it just makes you freaking happy. Whatever that is. Okay. All content doesn't have to be something that you need to go viral. All content doesn't have to be business-based. Most content shouldn't be. Yet here we are. So let's continue. So we share it, okay? We go out there with all those things in mind. We still share it. We put it out there. Okay, this is where it goes. And when we share it from our first circle to that second circle, When that first circle shares it, what is actually happening right now is they are sharing it to their first circles. And the same test starts again, except this time, since it's your second circle, it's beyond your reach. You don't have that context. You don't have that bias. You don't have that relationship with it. And as it forms, first circle, first circle, first circle, first circle, first circle, and this is where it goes. And that's something going viral right there. It's a bunch of third circles going out. But it doesn't always resonate with everybody. I don't think anything resonates with everybody. I know it's a blanket statement, but I don't think majority of things don't resonate with every human on the planet, and most things don't, nor do you want it to be that. One of the things your content should be doing is it is like a metal detector for your audience, for your target market, but for us, for your community. I think less about target markets and more about communities that happen to have potential like offerings and needs. And that's what your content does. That helps attract the right people to you. But not all of it's going to make a hit. Most of my content I put out there doesn't take off. But that's not the reason I'm putting it out. The reason is because it's content I believe in or I'm passionate in. I want to be able to provide that. But sometimes the reaction is meh, whatever. Apathy doesn't create third circle. Apathy doesn't create anything. It's just there, which is a lot of content out there. A lot of newsletters, a lot of videos. It's kind of, that doesn't get spread. We don't share mediocre. We don't run to our neighbor, knock on the door. I'm like, did you see the new WandaVision episode? It was mediocre. By the way, WandaVision is not mediocre. It was just in my head. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. I love comics, and you could put the statues behind my head. Yeah. It's all good, MCU. Don't make me stop watching it. Like, don't force me to stop watching it or something. But this stuff goes through, and this whole part of it is that you can't predict it. Here's a breakdown of some of the reactions we had for one of the videos I'm going to get into shortly. But like, you can't. This is a video put out because I thought I wanted to make people laugh, and I made 202 people sad and 151 people angry. I know that because they said so. I didn't want to, but you cannot dictate reaction. And resonating equals reaction. Okay? That's how all of these things can work. So the first circle shared to the second circle. Okay, that second circle is the one you can't reach. Like I said, there's no context. You can't, your intent that's in your heart, your mind, and part of your brand doesn't go along with it necessarily. It might go to your first circle because they know you or they know your brand and its legacy. Well, that second circle may not. Okay, they may not do that. And when you look at all this stuff, and Ryan, you got a good point here I want to bring up. He says, there's a few people I follow that seem to post the same content, just worded differently week in, week out. It gets pretty good engagement. It just boggles my mind. I got to warn you, Ryan, that you're looking at things from the outside content. And I know this is not just your thought, Ryan. A lot of people see this and they're like, but this. You have no idea behind the curtain. You have no idea about any of those things. You don't want to have content metric envy. Okay, because most metrics are vanity anyways. Okay, if you go for the numbers chase, you will always be behind. Always. You will never. Take it from experience. Take it from us. We've sold roughly 100,000 copies of our books in total. And my brain says, why isn't it 1 million? Okay? Don't have that that vanity metric envy. All right? And it's okay. It's not about, Ryan, what they're doing. It's about what you want to do, what you want to get out there, and how do you want to affect people without looking at other people's metrics like that, because it'll never end, by the way. It'll never stop. I think by book 4 or 5, I kind of stopped looking at a lot of the sales rank and numbers and book scan type of stuff because it's never enough. My brain's there's always imposter syndrome in there saying, well, obviously you did something wrong. It's not healthy. It doesn't help you out. And one of the biggest things here with Second Circle, this is where the problems actually happen. So you want to know why your content or other content or a brand you work for or a client's content didn't reach? This is one of the biggest things. Okay, this is the biggest wall. This is the biggest issue, and this is literally the viral wall. Okay, and the biggest reason why those things don't get shared beyond that is because there's too much either corporate branding, there's no context, once it gets out there, it doesn't stand on its own. It doesn't stand on its own. I'll give you an example. And this example I've used in the past. But I put up a video clip of my millennials rant from the PRSA event, which is another one of my favorite events of all time, one of the greatest audiences ever. And this is the video we put out. Okay, put it up on the Unmarketing page. At the time, the Unmarketing page had about 50,000 fans or followers or likes, whatever you call it right now, today, this hour. We put it out there. And it got about 250,000 views, which is good. It's good. But I noticed in the stats, it wasn't getting a lot of it was just dropping. It wasn't shooting up and getting those shares. So it wasn't actually really going viral. It was kind of going first circle, getting shared, and the momentum was dying. And I realized it really was, the context wasn't held on to it. I didn't drive curiosity out of people who had no context. That is key. How do you drive curiosity of people with no context? And context curiosity is what makes this stuff work outside of your reach. So I took this video, and this is my millennial rant, but again, the millennial rant isn't a rant against millennials. It makes the audience think I'm ripping on them, and then I flip it halfway through because we're all just freaking human beings. And us Gen Xers, what's up, Gen X? Actually, I think I got a song for us Gen Xers here. Where is it? No, I don't think I have it anymore. Nope. It's okay. I probably would have got a copyright kickoff anyways. I was going to play Papa Roach, Last Resort, but it's all right. And this is where this stuff can really happen if we understand this. We changed this where, look, if you don't know me, you don't care I was the keynote at PRSA and my humble brag about that. And people don't mostly even read this part of the post. They're looking at the video. And it comes through, and you got to stop that thumb scroll. And we looked at a lot of the other videos that were going viral of even other speakers, other contexts, other minutes. And I'm like, but I think ours should be going higher. I know the clip's funny because I've tested it on stage and gotten the reaction. So we letterboxed it instead. And it went from 250,000 views to 13 million views. Oh, and Ryan came up with this great idea, by the way. Yeah. Alexa, play let's try it again. Alexa, play Papa Roach, Last Resort. And then you guys can hear it. Oh my Lord, there's bad language in it. Please, warning. Oh my, I should have done that. And thank you, Ryan. Yeah, that was from our last week's one where I was, it's coming up. There's a person named Alexa that I was setting off people's things, and I'm sure I'm doing it now. See, and Mark learned from last week, I turned his Alexa volume down for this one. Smart. So this is the difference, though. 250,000 to 13 million. Same exact clip, same writing in the comment, like the description of the post, but the clip itself looked like this. What do people mean when they say millennials? And that stayed the whole time. That was putting context and curiosity into the package, and it goes on its way. That's one of the keys to viral, is you've got to package enough into the content, baked into the content itself, to go off on its own. You're such a proud content parent, and it goes off on its own. You've got to really put it on all together in there. And that was the difference for this. That's really what made it work. Now, those that have watched the ethics or the vanity metrics things I've talked about also knows that 13 million is a vanity metric, and it was actually came down to 3.7 million people watched the video with sound on over 10 seconds. And that's a whole metrics talk and a whole nother thing that we talked about also last week. But that's the point. That's what made it go. Then it was viral to me. And the best part was like our kids' friends at school was like, is it your dad going viral on Facebook? Like, yeah, it's me. Half the reason we do these things is to embarrass the children. But that's when we go viral. That's when it reaches the masses, okay? But viral doesn't have to be 1 million views. Okay, it can be 200. It can be 500. It's reaching beyond your reach. We don't want to focus on that number necessarily. I do it as a comparative for you, but the number doesn't mean anything. 14 million views to 3.7, whatever that is. The point is, did it move a needle? If I was doing that to move a needle, did or did it not move it? Now, I do a lot of content. I do a lot of things with no intent to drive purchase decisions. Actually, almost all my content is that. Sometimes the content is simply because I want to make people laugh or smile. And it's for fun. You have to understand something with this. Content shouldn't feel like an unending job. Unless your job is content marketing for a company and that's all you do. But you, personally, you individually, okay, especially if you are yourself, this is like a personal branding thing. You are the person, you are the product. You're an entrepreneur or solopreneur. You have to enjoy this somewhat. If you don't, your content won't be good and you'll burn out making it. You got to make content you enjoy. You got to make content that works for you, but doesn't exhaust you. And this is what I was saying at the beginning of the live. Content should not be a chore all the time. Yes, sometimes it's a pain. Sometimes you don't want to do something, but you think you should, or it's a lot of extra steps, or whatever that is. Passion is contagious. Okay, passion is contagious. Speaking of contagious and passion, Orlando. One of the most passionate, contagious person I know. I just called Orlando contagious. I didn't mean that, Orlando. I didn't mean you're contagious. Your passion's contagious. I love Orlando. Let's see here. Eowyn. Can you tell me if I pronounce that right? I would really like to know. Do you pre-test content with people that don't have context, or just try to think that way? I try to think that way. I test content out for, like I'm doing right now. Like if I'm doing these lives right now, right now, 2 weeks in a row, is to test the content out, try it, also see what resonates, because we're working on this, on the Academy. And I need the reps through it. I want to talk it through, want to get it out there. Also, in your comments, it shows me what can resonate. It also shows me the questions that help me find out where the curiosity is. So I'm literally talking to you right now inside of my content machine or within Third Circle, but I'm not going for, it's the Gaelic spelling. Should I lose all of my heritage because I didn't know that was the Owen spelling? You understand that we have a son named Owen, and we picked Owen because it's a Gaelic heritage. And a Gaelic, it's like everything on me is Gaelic heritage. And I didn't know. I'm so sorry, Owen. I'm just sorry. But I'm back. So let's go. So this is where we want to be able to say, okay, what can we do about this? Where can we go with this? Understanding if you're a brand, okay, and the story is negative, and it goes viral because it's outside of your reach, you need to respond as quickly as possible. And hopefully something that helps it out. If the story is positive and you want to go along, it's also imperative your response time is very, very quick. Okay, and I want to give you some examples of that. Okay, I'm going to show you some examples of this and how it worked with brands and Owen, thank you so much. Whew, I'm good. I'm going to show you some examples of what it means if you catch the viral. If you can catch stuff going before it goes to the Third Circle or fully into the Third Circle, you can catch the wave of viral. And I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by this. It's an example of a FedEx driver. This is from 2011. But it's one I used in my talks a lot previously, and it's a really good example of this one. And no, it's not. Yeah, it's not the Delta story this time, but it is going into the Academy. Don't you worry. It's one of my favorite ones. But this is the one here that is very important to understand, that this whole video is of a FedEx driver chucking a pack. Actually, I have it here. I can show you. But this is the driver walking up and just chucking the package over the fence. Now, in the package, if you want to look closer, in the package, that's a computer monitor via Samsung. If you haven't been in the delivery business, that is not how you deliver a package. The live signal is blocking your own marketing branding. Not sure that matters. I'm just saying. Oh, it's okay. It's on marketingacademy.com. Thank you for the heads up, Lance. I appreciate that. Personal trainer to the stars. Well, to us. We're stars. So this side of it, they chuck it over the fence. Okay, and then it goes viral, obviously, right? Most people have experienced some kind of thing with package, breakage, the box is pounded to crap, whatever that is. So it resonates with us. And now it's like, oh, hell no. And it starts going viral. But the interesting thing here wasn't the fact that they chucked the package. It wasn't the fact that this happened. And how do you even, wrong one. How do you even do that? Like, how do you recover from this? Other than also reimbursing for the monitor and apologizing for it. Well, they did something special. They did something amazing. Where am I going with this? I just turned my slides right off. I'm back. Sorry, as we learn this stuff even better. They came out with a blog post, a video, and an apology. Like within a day or so when this was going viral. And it's titled, Absolutely Positively Unacceptable. Okay? This was a play off their slogan. I don't know if it's their slogan anymore, but back then it was when you absolutely positively need it there the next day. And they said absolutely positively unacceptable. It was, wow, that's a hell of a brand and apology. It's wonderful. And then they brought out the senior VP of Express U.S. Operations, Matthew Thornton. The freaking third shows up. Like they are generationally sorry for what happened. And it's the best corporate apology I've seen. If you want to find it, just go look it up. And for the FedEx, it's still up on their site. Okay, and they own it. They own it on every level. This is not a representation of our brand that as a whole, and it is a representation today. And here's what we're doing about it. They were apologetic and sincere. It felt that way. And then the apology went viral with it. So the news broadcast, the one where I got the clip from CBS News, the apology was part of that. They caught it in time. Once it reaches the news, it's pretty much too late to jump on the viral wave of that. That's why it's so important to have your speed. That's why your social media people are so important. Okay? If you're part of a brand watching right now, or a team, or a department, and your social media person gets the least pay and least respect and the most overworked out of them, how good do you think they're going to be listening for things like this? The social media position in your company is crucial, and should be respected that way. They can make or break these viral things. They can turn a bad story that could hurt your brand, sales, stock price, whatever that is, and they can make a save that actually gets you increased PR, increased PR value and reach that could bring in no customers at really no cost other than the resolution of the problem if done right. Social media people pay for themselves. We just don't look at it that way. It's crazy to me. Here's a great one in action I saw. So this is a brand making it go viral. Like the tweet is funny. Like the original tweet from Clayton here. Sawbird had crapped on a smart car, totaled it. Like, well done. Good use of a period. Really, really thought the tweet was clever. And then Official Smart USA comes out and says, couldn't have been one bird. Sounds more like 4.5 million. Seriously, we did the math. And then they put an infographic up. And or up above it is a bunch of text talking about the math of it. But it would take 4.5 million pigeon craps, 360,000 turkey craps, and 45,000 emu craps. And then they sourced it at the bottom of where they got the numbers from. Like, that's good. That's good. I love it. And yes, Ryan, brands, please give your social media team the power to resolve things without going up the ladder. Huge. Autonomy, the ability to change, to fix. It's like the Ritz-Carlton I talked about many, many times. They believe in their staff so much, they call them the ladies and gentlemen of the Ritz-Carlton. They authorize those frontline employees up to $2,000 per guest per incident to either make right or delight, surprise and delight. And that's and most people don't spend it. And the average spend for a guest to recover them was $82. Okay, employees aren't walking around with a fat stack of cash making it rain. What it tells them is, we trust you. Use your best judgment. If you don't trust the people that work for you, why are they working for you? The problem's on one of the sides. And if you don't trust anybody that works for you, it's not your employee's problem. The fault lies within. And another one I loved, this is somebody posted this Ivy application makes me want to projectile vomit into the head of an admission's mouth. It's rather something. And the Ivy program replies back, duly noted. And the person replies, I take it back. Oh my God, accept me, please. But you can share this. If something makes you laugh or smile or makes you feel good, you can share it. It doesn't mean because it's not in your vertical or it's not because of what you do or whatever. I know I have it a little bit easier with stuff because like I was tweeting on Twitter about Twitter. We post on Facebook about Facebook stuff. I post on LinkedIn a lot of times about LinkedIn stuff. So I do have an easier job of these things because it's endless content. But sharing this stuff makes you smile. Share it. Put it out there. All content doesn't have to be your content. Frankly, most content should not be your content. And we'll get into that more. I'm getting ahead of myself here. But I wanted you to see that. Here's another thing. This is almost like a triple viral. It was so good. I love this thing. So this photo went viral, and this is a guy that it was a flood happening, and it was filling up a person's front lawn, and it wouldn't stop, and he just went underwater to shut off. It was a valve. That is not my lane. I don't want to insult that the industry and the craft and the much needed and the trades in general. And by the way, please, can we have more people going to trades, please? It is a industry that is really suffocating right now, and people are saying, only go to this or go to the university, go to the trades. More people in the trades, please. That would be wonderful. So this goes viral, and he stopped the flood, and it was wonderful, but he just sacrificed himself and went on in. Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs saw it, and I know Mike is more than Dirty Jobs, but that's his biggest fame or deadliest catch, voiceover. Mike says, I don't know who this guy is, but he's all over my wall, over Facebook, and all over the internet. Hell of a thing to have your photo go viral and still remain completely anonymous. At any rate, if you recognize him, tell him the first beer is on me, which is awesome. And then here is the viral on top of the viral. Wrangler jumps in and says, that's a hell of a dirty job. See what they did there? You buy the beer, Mike, and we'll get him some new jeans. That to me is a work of art. A lot of times I don't like brands trying to jump into a viral, or but a lot of times it's meme-based type of stuff, and it's just like, it's like you're like me showing up to a club. It's just like, it doesn't work, right? If I'm the older person in the club, then unless I own it, I should probably go. It's just odd. This is one of my favorite ones. It was just such a great pile-on. And look at the timing, though. I want you to see the timing. The speed of which you reply or act or jump on is imperative. Mike posts this on August 25th. Wrangler replies August 25th. Okay, that's how you jump in. It's like Reddit being an early commenter, right? Being, not saying first when you comment or anything like that, but when you're early commenter and it's well done, those are the comments that rise to the top. It's not the ones who come in after 4,000 comments to make something witty and amazing. It is what you do, but also how quickly you do it. And that's anything in customer service, too. How quickly we do something and what we do go together. And the faster we do it, the more the resolution is amplified. The longer we take, the bigger the resolution has to be. Speed is of the essence when these things happen. Now, going viral, you can try to create something going viral, still have the brand mentioned somehow, but still make it okay to watch. I'm going to play you something right now, and this is a video. This is a video called Reflections of Motherhood. Okay? Now, Reflections of Motherhood is a a campaign that we put together, Allison and myself. When Allison owned a nursing bra company. Her nursing bra company was called Nummy's Nursing Bras. And not only is Allison the greatest mother I know, and the greatest human on the planet, and the greatest, and shout out to my mom too. You're not included in that because you're my mom and you're just the chosen one. And so with Nummies, we wanted to do something that would resonate with women, but we didn't want it to be a commercial. We wanted to help people. We wanted to make them smile, maybe because, you know, having a baby, especially having your first baby, obviously it's life-changing, but brain-changing, but it's also could be terrifying. So going with that, we decided we wanted to put out this video. Now, I want you to watch the video. It's only 2.5, 3 minutes, but I want you to watch it. Okay, and see if it's resonating with you, and notice how we inserted the brand. Okay, so I want you to watch this, enjoy it, and enjoy everything. Photos done from a friend of ours, Sarah Colton, music done by Ian Ashton, which was fronted by a friend of ours, Morgan Clamp, and then Nummy. So it's all together. This is the landing page. It's reflectionsofmotherhood.com. But I want you to watch it, but watch how we inserted the brand at the end, okay, and how it works for you, and you let me know if it resonated with you as well.
I am days away from change, a new place to rest my head, a place to rearrange. I am days away from waving goodbye to my friends. I am days away from change, from one last touch until the next time. I am days away from waving goodbye. So long to all of this, but it's alright. Out there and lay them on the table. I am days away from waving goodbye. So long to you all, but it's alright. Change must come. Oh, sooner or later we become. Oh, sooner or later a change must change. I am days away from change. Well, I am days away from change.
And there you go. It always gets me. But also I have context with it. Okay. And thank you to Dean. Thank you to Jackie. Sorry, it gets me. Because I have more context to it. It was the first project really Alice and I worked on. Evelyn's in that. She passed away a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. Let grandma spoil them and stuff. So there's layers to that. So it totally fills my heart though. So there's you resonating. But again, we made it, so obviously it resonates with myself and resonates with Allison and also with everybody who's there. And the interesting thing about that piece is exactly Allison. Yeah. Yep. And but why also that piece means a lot is especially at the time, that was our community. Like, we put that video together for Allison's company, for Nummies, but we put it out on Twitter of who wants to come to a photo shoot to do this. We put it out there. We're going to give everybody a Starbucks gift card as a thank you. We hired Sarah to do the photo shoot. We got the rights for the song from Morgan. And we did a photo shoot. That was at the Distillery District in Toronto. And then a few of the parks. Some of you may recognize as well Amber Mack, one of our favorite people and one of the best speakers there is, and a fellow Canadian as well. And so that had a community meaning to it. So it means a heck of a lot to us. But this is also a problem. So you see my emotion right now. We also have to realize that a lot of those layers aren't going to be carried forward with that. So although we love it, you still don't know if it's going to go viral. And you notice how we brought in the brand at the end, and it was Allison holding the sign with nummies.com. And that was it. That was the only branding possible. And it did well, back then especially, almost just under 1 million views, or just under 900,000 views, was a huge amount. Now it's somebody sneezes and people seem to get a lot of views, but it means so much to us. It got embedded in over 100 different parenting blogs and websites. It's used on a loop. People download the video. We gave them the video to download. They put it on a DVD. They play it in parenting classes, prenatal units in some hospitals, and that's what means something to us, because the video has effect. Allison doesn't have a company anymore. She closed it up. But the video is still watched because there's still value to people for that, because if it motivates them or inspired them or makes them feel a little bit, take that breath before this monumental life event happens. That's really what Allison wanted. And I wanted too with that. The content that keeps going. I don't like expiring content. I don't want to make content that is here today and gone tomorrow. That is exhausting. That is unreasonable to expect anybody who is not in the business of content creation. And I'm talking to people who, especially the ones who run their own show, and being told by everybody, you got to post more, you got to be on more platforms, you got to do more things. Stop it. Stop it. Not everybody has these abilities. Not everybody has the tech things or the budget to bring in some of these things. But this was done on the lowest budget as well. We used a program at the time called Animoto that did the slideshow, the pictures coming in for us. They have many more options nowadays to do this type of stuff too. So you can do something like this. It was actually very low cost for us. And the lower cost is the less you have to perceive to bring in to make it break even for something. I want to make content that resonates, but also with us. You have to love a certain aspect of this, or you're just not going to do it well. And if you can hire somebody to do content and make it for you, fine, and put it out, okay. But I want to put stuff out with meaning, and other people's stuff out with meaning out there. Here's an example of a brand that potentially may not have caught along with it. This is one of my favorite ones. This is at a trade show in Vegas. And this is a picture taken by the vendor at the booth, which is the one night stand you'll never regret. It's brilliant. I love it. It's so good. Excuse me. And it went bananas. It went crazy viral with BuzzFeed. Imager went on viral on Reddit. Those go hand in hand kind of. But it just went bananas. It went on something funny and this or Funny or Die and all the places you want, right? All the places that used it, all the places that would ripped it off, those type of things, right? Or repurposed it and went out there. But the issue here Who's the company? What happens if you want the one night stand you'll never regret? You don't know. I talked to the gentleman who took this photo, and it's his dad's company, and he was doing the marketing for it. And he took this photo and purposely left the logo out. And I'm like, why? And he said, because he didn't want it to feel like a commercial. And that's fair. And here's the thing. It was a hit at the trade show. So it served its purpose. They just didn't get to catch the virality when it went outside of that. So it's okay. So me as a marketing and a viral marketing person, I was a little sad that the brand wasn't there, because they should get their credit. They should get their due. But it didn't go. And that's why, because there was no mention of any kind of logo or any kind of branding there. Now, let's talk about the platforms first, and I'm going to talk about some content, and then we'll try to wrap this up. I know it's already gone over the hour, but I still got more to go. So if you want to hang out, if you don't, it'll be recorded. You can come back to it anytime you want. These are all the platforms that you need to be on. Okay? This is my suggested the top platforms to be on. Okay? If you're going to be on platforms for social media, these are the ones you have to be on. Am I making this clear? I don't know how much more clear I can make this. You have to be on none. Nothing is mandatory. Nothing works by default. Nothing is better for your business or worse. It all depends. And one of the answers is none. None. Okay? Knowing that, are there ones that may be helpful? Depends. But if you're going to use them or pick them, you should be using for your content is what we do with platforming. That's how we build audiences on these things. It's platforming. Now, what this means is we have all these places here. Here's just a selection of 6, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and let's throw in Clubhouse, the favorite of the day. Because who doesn't want to dial into more conference calls? Probably people who didn't do a lot of conference calls before. But these are, let's say these are the 6 platforms. And you're just like, you got to be on all of them. And if you had 1 hour a day, if you said, I'm going to dedicate 1 hour a day to growing myself on these platforms. Okay, I'm just saying 1 hour a day. If you said you have 5 hours a day, then just multiply by 5. But this is how potentially it can look like. 20 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 8 minutes, 4 minutes. It's just like you spread it all out. So you're not really getting a lot of momentum. And Dom brings up the exact point here. Okay, being on a network and doing poorly or being absent can be worse than not being there at all. 100%. Abisex says, where is MySpace? Oh, don't make me give you my MySpace page, man. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. And I'll throw in Friendster too. Or Orkut. Or Rise. Or my old Angel Fire. Or my old GeoCities page. Anyway, we spread ourselves so thin. We never can get a footing on these places. So this is what I do. This is what I will always do. This is what I've always done since 2008. I've been on LinkedIn since 2003. Facebook since 2008, I think. Twitter 2008. But this is how I build momentum on platforms. Okay, I really do it like this. I focus on an individual platform religiously. I mean live on it. Okay, and I'm not talking about for a few weeks. I'm saying 6 months to a year. Like, you want to get momentum. You want to know the ins and outs. You want to build relationships somewhere. You can't do it by going to 6 networking events for 10 minutes. Stay at one for an hour. Or 55 minutes and just make a wave appearance at the other 4 that you already said you were going to. Look, everybody's coming in with it. I got some old school people in here. When Bebo comes in, tripod. Well done, Ryan. And then Dean says, I think Twitter Space will crush Clubhouse. Sure, when you have a built-in audience already, you do have an advantage. So we'll see. Twitter's messed up so many other rollouts. We're not sure. We'll see. So this is how I would do it. Okay? But really, this is what I do. And this is what I'm doing now. You want to, behind the curtain, you want to look under the hood, insert whatever other phrase fits here. This is really what I'm doing right now. I'm spending the majority of my time here on LinkedIn, and I've been doing that for the past year and a half, 2 years. And the reason why I flipped it is because LinkedIn became much more of a social media place than it was a Rolodex, a content recruiting and business development platform because of the news feed. That's when I really could do my thing. I understand since 2003 until 2018 was a time where I just wasn't using it a lot because you couldn't get the traction the way I wanted to. It wasn't really social. And then it became more social. And that's when I then went and platform and invested my time and my social currency into a site like this. So then with content, then you decide, am I going to create it or am I going to curate it? And this is going back to the start of the live here, the start of the video, where we try to gatekeep our thoughts and our content for somebody that then comes to us and asks us or pays us. But putting content out there, I understand putting a lot of content out is important, and putting out consistent content can be important for algorithms, for your own brand, and staying fresh in front of people's eyes. I understand that, but the few things I won't do, we will never do content frequency based just for the sake of frequency. We stopped doing it on podcast at the end of February last year. We had 4 episodes recorded in the can, ready to go out mid-March on. Pandemic hit. Did not make sense, was not appropriate. We haven't done an episode since. We will be back when the time is right, when we can put content out that we think we can resonate. We have to be well enough to be able to do it, to have our hearts into it as well. We're not going to force it. I've sent out 3 newsletters in 3 years. That is a detriment. I know it hurts my list and everything else, but I'm not forcing content. And the same on social. But curating content, I can do consistently all the time. But we think if it's not ours, we're not producing content. You are actually only producing your own content, and that's kind of selfish. That can be viewed as being selfish. And it's fine. You can be selfish. You can't just do your own. You can do whatever you want. I may have thought I was the mayor of Twitter for a very long time, but you do you. But if you want to have content that resonates consistently, it usually can't always be yours unless you have a giant team of content creators. And if you look at people like my friend Gary V, who has content all day, every day, he's also got multiple videographers and editors and stuff following him around every day. I understand the hustle, but I ain't hustling. Okay, I leave that to Rick Ross and Gary. This is not my thing. And it doesn't have to be your thing. If it's not yours, if hustle is your thing, go hustle. Go do it. That's not mine, though. That's not the best way I get content out. It's not the best way I create. I put my best content out through curation, through finding stuff out there. Or find your community. This is I use Melanie example all the time in talks. Melanie's awesome out in Fort Mac, Alberta, out west here. In Canada, she decided to say, you know what, I can create content. I'm going to visit a local business and feature one of them every day for 30 days in the slowest time in real estate in January in Fort Mac. Fort Mac can get cold. Real estate might be slow in January. Every day, once a day, 30 days. Okay? Right? Exactly. Thank you, Brian. Good to see you in here, Brian. I will not go against Brian in any kind of pop culture trivia show, especially boy bands, even though I know I can hold my own. But sometimes you just got to bow to the queen of pop culture. So you got this. It's yours. Have it. I'm not even going to compete. And I saw the photo, by the way, of you and AJ, doing something on your content and social. And you're awesome, but I hate you now. So that's fine. I just listened to the call like yesterday in the car, and I was just bopping to it. So with community, Melanie said, look, I want to put this out there. I want to help, truly help. And it makes content, and it's perfect. So that's one of the things that for her, to Melanie, community is a verb, and she wants to go out and do these things. And even if the videos get 50 views, 5 views, it doesn't matter. She's going to the business and saying, I want to help amplify. That to me is great content. Melanie isn't in these videos talking about housing prices. She's talking about their business. She's the curator for the community conversation. That's what it is. She wants to be the catalyst for that community conversation. And this is what I try to do with 90% of my content, is be that. Because in social media, I think it should be 90% social, 10% your media. And this is my content breakdown. 90% of the time, and I'm not talking about talking to people, replies or this type of thing. I mean, what you're putting out there. 90% of what I put out. Go look at my LinkedIn timeline. Go to it and see posts or actions or whatever the frick it's called right now. Go see it. It might be 95 to 5%. It's still putting content out there. And there's different ways to do it, different ways to see it. And it all works when you're building relationships. It all works when we're having a community. That's what that is. As Chris Brogan said, and I said this last week, the difference between audience and community is which way the chairs are facing. We're in this together. I believe in LinkedIn. I believe in human connections. What I hate is the ones who are getting in the way of that. The snapping necks and cashing checks. The ones that are trying to make the Catalina wine mixer. That's not what I'm here for. You do you, fine, but get away from me and stop telling everybody that's the only way to do it. It's not. I want to give you an example from a few days ago. This is Ruth. Ruth posted this about Ruth is an incredible attorney and a speaker and a writer. It resonates with me. The attitude resonates with me. The style resonates with me. Up goes this post from Ruth. I wanted to do something epic to celebrate Captain Kirk's future birthday this year. And he puts the lights, camera, lawsuit, $17 instead of $300. I see this. And so, love Ruth's stuff. Want to amplify it, but also love the product. I've known Ruth for, I think, 2 years now. So we've connected and know, like, and trust. So here's the thing. I shared it and I bought it. And I share it. And it's fantastic, by the way. Even if you're not a photographer, it just breaks down copyright and stuff. It's great. It's a great program. But then I shared it. So this counts as content. We don't think sharing stuff or commenting counts as content. So I have to make one piece of content a day, 5 days a week or something like that. No. If you don't, look, if you do, by the way, if you want to, if that's your thing, go get it. Go on and be your bad self. Go get him. No, I'm serious. Just do it. I love it. I'm right now doing one of these lives a week here on LinkedIn because I love it. I love doing this right now. I love working through the content and figuring this out for the Unmarketing Academy and where we're going to go with it. I love hearing from people. I love seeing comments, and like this is what I thrive off of. This is not work to me. And when it's a chore, when content's a chore, you should do it no more. I know sometimes it's harder. I'm going to give up on it. But it's got to inspire you. It's got to go with your grain. It's got to work that way. So this counts as a piece of content. I'm sharing something I'm excited about. I'm helping somebody else's content out. I'm amplifying it. And my audience hears from me. This only helps. And it's a piece of content. And I didn't have to create it. And I didn't have to make a commercial. Here's another way of doing it, something I just shared. And all I added was great advice in here. Now, I didn't have to add that at all, but as you can still amplify stuff. This took me, I clicked on the article, I read some of the pieces of advice. The first 4, I'm like, just boom, 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 boom. All great. All right, share. Always read the stuff first, by the way. Always click through the article. Thank you to the social media sites now that say, do you want to read it first before you share it? Go read it. Go check it out. And then share it. That's content. And then you're investing your social currency in people. Your social currency is how much you give versus how much you take from these platforms. 90-10. 90-10. Okay, if you want to make it 5 days a week, then go 4 in 1. 4 days, share content, 1 day, your own thing. But it doesn't have to be an ad. Just take the pressure off yourself. Take the pressure off it. Exactly, Brianne. This is such a helpful reminder. It's a win-win for you and the person or business you're amplifying. Exactly. Just don't share this stuff for one of the wrong reasons I talked about earlier on the live with Third Circle and going viral. don't share it conditionally because you want something from the person. If you don't, look, if you believe it and you hope to get to know the person better, or you hope to land them as a client or whatever, that is fine. But don't share it if you don't believe in the content itself. That isn't authentic. That may even hurt integrity. It's conditional sharing, and I don't play that game. You want to share stuff, even here. This is Camille. Camille's awesome. I totally recommend please checking out Camille's stuff. But I celebrated it. Okay, so I picked the clapping hands and LinkedIn and off it went. So this is what sees in some of my connections news feed, right? The algorithms kick in, and so Camille's post gets amplified. I celebrate this. That's a piece of content from me. So literally, it's a path of least resistance to having something in the news feed. But I loved this post and all of her stuff. I loved this post. It pushed it in. Good, another piece of content. Now, if you think this is really, really easy, then why don't you do a couple in one day? Or why don't you make Mondays amplify Monday? Right? And then, one of those days can be terrific Tuesday. I don't know. It's getting weird now, but you know what I mean? And it's just like, I'll share a funny thing. Whatever that's going to be, you want to put it out there. But finding the content is part of it. And you can do this in certain ways that it can be done for you. Now, I have to have full disclosure here. One of the fortunate things for us at On Marketing and having this type of brand that we do, which is showing also a lot of brand train wrecks, we're trying to get away from some of that now. It's trying to show some more positive stories. We just think that's what we need and the world needs. But we still also highlight some bad things because I can't kick the habit. But when you set up a brand like that, and when things go wrong, and you've built a community, they do the curation for you. At our height of this, 2 years ago, when we're at the height of everything, every day we were getting messaging on a platform through our contact form, but something going wrong with the brand. It was unending new content. It's also because of the show, because of the On Podcast, the business show for the fed up. Our listeners, our 7 listeners, that we always call them, are so loyal and so into this, which is also the reason why we haven't done an episode. We're just not going to sully the show because of a frequency thing, or we want to be heard. We want to be able to honor them. And they send us this content. So we did get a lot of that, but there's other ways to do this. From newsletters to other social sites to your connections to even alerts. And I'll break that down right now. We're 80 minutes in. For those that are still here, good to see you. And we're just going to keep on rolling. I'm going to work through this content. And if y'all leave, it doesn't matter. I'll just keep talking anyways. I turn this off. I just keep talking to myself into the camera. So let's go through this. And I'm all about kind of recycling the stuff and having multi-use for things. Okay, here's an example for newsletters. Okay. Dean says, by the way, I'm pretty sure it's up to 12 listeners. Thank you for your positive thoughts on it. Yeah, we went over 1 million downloads of the show, which was very cool. We have a whole thing in the Academy about podcasting and all of the trials and tribulations. We went through it and going to CBS and then leaving CBS and everything else. So yeah, that's going to be a fun section of the course. It's a doozy. So here's an example here. So one of the things I want to do here, this is my newsletter inbox. Okay, here's some of the highlights of some of the ones that I subscribe to, but this is my newsletter. So my newsletters go immediately filtered in Gmail because we use Google Workspace as our back end of our email for onmarketing.com. And so this comes in and I've just spent a long time making sure we filter these out because a lot of times I don't read them. I want to. It's like books. I bought a lot of books. I haven't read most of them. I know. I'm trying to change. Okay. I'm trying to change. And it's something that, and Ryan has something here real quick. Any advice when share goes bad? I saw a few on International Women's Day. Yeah, well, what's up, Burger King? It's the FedEx example I used earlier on of this. If something messes up, you need to apologize as quickly and as effectively as possible. Get people out of the way, get a lot of things out of the way, and just be human. Just be human and do it quickly. Alan says votes for a 24/7 Stratton stream. Yeah, join me on Twitch. We'll go over there. No, what's up, Rick? Oh my God, same here. Good to see you. So this world is, just do it quickly and do it effectively. That's my advice. You can't stop viral. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can only hope to react and reon. Bisex says, love the content today as well. It's past midnight now. I'll get back to this tomorrow morning. Thanks, Scott. You're awesome. It's just the coolest that somebody in Kathmandu is watching right now. It's just, and in Panama and like all over the place right now. It's just, it never gets old, man. Hey, good night to you in Nepal. Thank you for supporting these lives. I appreciate you. And again, drop a line anytime for this. So this newsletter thing, my problem is my inbox is overwhelming. And one of the things with overwhelm is I'm not going to do anything. So once I did this, and I protected my inbox, moved all the newsletters over here. So when I do have a moment of space, I'm like, oh yeah, newsletters. And I go in and check. And I just read some of the subject lines. And these are all fantastic newsletters I love. And so this side of it is where I can find some of the use. I can go in there for inspiration, for ideas. And that really works well for me. Just what the hell are NFTs? Can you forward me that newsletter? Yeah. Love the hustle, by the way. Yeah, I will forward it to you, Rich. Rich, by the way, fantastic photographer. Done a lot of my headshots and ones I've used and things, but more importantly, a good dude and a good dad. So that's what means more to me than your photography skills, Rich. But also, you're a hell of a photographer. This is where I go for some inspiration. I go and check my newsletters. I look at them. These are some of the ones I love. But these newsletters, especially though. These are like the curated newsletters. So The Hustle, Rohit's, Amber's, Morning Brew, even Trapital by Dan Runcie. They're all a lot of times like, here's stuff I found. So they're curating, bringing to you. Then I take it and I'm like, what is relevant to me? I like this one, this one, this one. Grab it, take it, read it, run with it. It inspires me and uses it. If you do find stuff off of something, then always try to give credit to it. Give a hat tip, which is an H/T, and say hat tip to Amber Mack for her newsletter for this piece, and go out there. Share the love. Okay? Don't pretend you found it yourself. If you found something, a post on Reddit, then you credit Reddit. If you're not giving credit, you're taking it. End of sentence. Give at least one piece of credit to something. You don't have to go 4 different layers of it, but obviously the original piece of content and maybe how you saw it. That's a nice way to do it. That's a kind way to do it. It's a big thing to do. And it just works well. And give credit. I love what Reddit does on mobile now. I really love the change here. When you want to, you save something or and save a photo you want to share, it embeds the attribution. I like that. It shows where you got. Now, I know Reddit is also a place where all, the OC, the original content is a whole thing on its own, and reposting is a huge issue. But look, if I saw something and it resonated with me, and especially if I laughed, right? Like that's a wonderful emotion to have. It's such a natural, pure thing. Then give a shout out to the person that brought that to you. Okay, unless it's a photo that you don't know the source, find the source first and go from there. But let me show you a piece. Now, talking about other sites, one of the things I mentioned is other social sites. So cross-posting from social, you can do with other people's content that resonates, but you have to do it right. You have to do it well. Okay, obviously giving credit first, but here's an example I mentioned last week on this. So if you were on last week, then you don't, this part, and pretty much the rest of this is kind of covering what I covered last week about content. So if you got to go, you got to go. No worries, but I'm going to go over that too. Yeah, and exactly, Pauline. She says, a really good tip with hat tip to newsletters. Definitely need to start doing that. And she loves the download by MIT. I should check out that one. I'd love to see that one. But that's it. But that's social currency. Look, isn't that the reward for somebody who created a newsletter, who curated content, who made you feel good? Isn't kind of that our payment? Really, that's what it is. And that's social currency. Here you go. Here's some of my social currency. Here's some of my platform because you brought that to me. Also, it helps potentially endear you to the person putting out that newsletter. I recognize people that share my stuff. That's how I recognize people like Dean Shaw on here. People like that who support. Peter DeWitt on here, who I've talked to a bunch. Brad on there, people I recognize from the past that have shared our stuff that I can see and hear for a long time. I see that because they share it. I see it because then it's frequently in my head. There's Tim doing an Inside the Book the Bun hashtag, right? These are the people that I know have supported us for a very long time. I'm talking 10 years. A lot of these people that are sharing this stuff out there. And that's where I remember that. I see that. And when somebody messages me and says, can you do this for me? And I say, who are you? That's the problem. And somebody says, hey man, could you do this? Come on a show or shout out or amplify something because it's a charity thing. I recognize somebody, I will share it as long as it works within my values, but I will share it because they've given so much social currency to Unmarketing. All those people I just named, by the way, they are going to get lifetime access to the Unmarketing Academy at no charge. Why? Because they've given for a decade to us. And a lot of people look at those people and say, no, those are your primary customers. Those are the ones you really can make the most money off of. No. Those are people of my community. Those are our fans who have just done nothing out of condition just to keep sharing. Mike Falconer in Vegas is another one. How do I know these names offhand? I can't keep everybody's names in this house straight half the time because they frequently have supported us with asking for nothing in return. And what better way can I do that by saying, thank you. Here's everything. Here's all the stuff. And we don't give those passes out to anybody. And Cheryl, thank you. You're crushing it. Always hashtag book the bun. Pauline, thank you. You have to leave. I know this is going on a very long time. People actually have work or jobs, so I understand. And this is recorded. This will stay on LinkedIn. I'm not saying live and done. You can come watch it anytime. Thank you for your support for this. I'm glad you're really enjoying it. I'm enjoying doing it too. Let's go back to this, okay? And Dean says, now you've given, I've mostly received. And that's why you're going to get the access to this, Dean. Is because you're not doing it to get that, okay? You're not doing it to get that type of stuff, which is why a friend of mine said this a while ago, Manya, in Vegas. He was a wonderful peer person in social back in the day. And I said I didn't want to ask for something. And she was kind of cheesed. I didn't ask her for a favor or something for that. Or it might have been Jess Berlin, who was with Cirque at the time. And shout out to Jess and Manya if you're around. I said, I don't want to ask. Like, I was in town in Vegas for something and I didn't ask for access to somewhere. Like I paid for tickets for something. And they're like, why didn't you just hit me up? And I'm like, I'm not friends with you to get stuff from you. That's not friendship. And she said something that has resonated with me since. The people who shouldn't ask for favors do, and the people who should don't. It's actually a joy to do something for somebody who's given so much to you, that it's a friend that you love, that you adore. That's how this works. So back to this. This is Naina Sharma. This is a tweet I saw, and it resonated really strong with me. I loved it. It's also within my world of unmarketing and authenticity, integrity, community. I'm like, this is such great content. If you see something written somewhere and you're like, damn, I wish I wrote that, that's the stuff you want to share. I know you didn't write this. I didn't write this. Okay? Oh, Dean, that's why I love you. Give, take, repeat. That's why we resonate. That's what we do. Literally, that's why we resonate. So I see this tweet. I'm kind of pissed off I didn't. Okay? I'm kind of pissed off I didn't write this. That's when you know it's good. It's so good. And Owen has a great line here. I'm sorry for bringing more comments in, but Owen says, real friends pay full price. Amen. Amen. Friends and family discount shouldn't be a thing. It should be more because we have to put up with sometimes. So I see this tweet. Okay, not my tweet. I want to pull it onto LinkedIn because I think it's really powerful. And I really like to also give more exposure to this tweet on a separate platform. So I retweet it on Twitter. So I do it on the platform it's shown on. So then I want to bring it to LinkedIn. But you have to do a few things. Okay. So this is what you normally would do. Okay. Usually I really like this. You saw a post I did. Okay. You saw one I did. I showed you a few slides ago where I said, this is great stuff. The same thing, but this is also off a different platform. Okay. So I'm pulling it there. I then check to make sure if she had a profile or not. And then I put the link to the original content. Put the link to the original content in the comments So the original content gets amplification because that's where the creator put it. And then I checked to make sure if Nana was on LinkedIn, couldn't find Nana. So made sure, and anyways, it still put the link to tweet, so it went to her account. But then I also typed out the content for the alt text for the picture itself. If you have a screen reader, if you have visually you can't read things on a screen, you have a screen reader, it does an audio for you. You need alt text on something, but alt text is limited to I think 120 on LinkedIn, 120 characters. So I typed it out. So everybody has it, so the screen reader can read it as well. Otherwise, you put it in the alt text. It's very important. I put the hashtags in camel case, which is very important, capitalizing each word of a hashtag. Not only is it better for clarity for anybody reading it, if somebody has a screen reader, it'll read it as separate words instead of one jumbled word, which does not translate well. And then you see in the comments there is a link to the original. However, you want to check here. I confirmed whether or not Nene was on LinkedIn, and was the tweet originally set to public or was it followers only? You don't want to amplify things that people may not want to have amplified, especially on a different platform. It's a public tweet shared there. You're free to link to it. So I confirm that if it's private. And I'm realizing now what I should have done was direct message Nene and said, is this okay if I link to the original and post it as a screenshot? And I didn't do that. And I should have done that. So that's mine. So I will do that next time. And I actually will ask Nene after I'm done here because that would be the right thing to do. And that's how we shared it. And that's how it goes out there. Okay? But even look at the views of the post, 25,000 views. But even if it's got 25 views, doesn't matter. You're doing it right. You're doing it well. But the accessibility part is also really important. Okay? So this is where the Alexas go off in people's homes listening right now. And if you weren't here earlier, Alexa, play Papa Roach Last Resort. Again, there's language in it. I'm sorry for playing that. Alexa, stop playing music. So this is a great thing there. This is Alexa. She has great things about accessibility and social. I beg of you to go to the site, therealalexa.com, go to the tab Accessible Social and grab the social media accessibility checklist and sign up for the newsletter. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. And it's important. It's important to do. Okay. Another thing I want to show you here is, listening tools, tracking. It's like Google News Alerts, but that's not as effective for me anymore. So I use TalkWalker. If you go to talkwalker.com/alerts, and when you go through the alerts side of things, it'll show you one of the things I like about. So this is an alert I have for my name. So if it comes up somewhere and not tagged, I can see it. I have this for the book titles. I used to have this for Twitter, not a TalkWalker, but Google News Alerts way back in the day. Because if a news item had Twitter in it, I wanted to read it. I wanted to stay at the high level of expertise I possibly could of always getting things as well. So, it's Alexa's birthday too. She's amazing. Happy birthday, Alexa. Does that mean it's Alexa's birthday too? As it's her birthday as well today? Or is it his birthday as well because it's your birthday as well? I'm not sure which one. Let me know, Brian. So when you look at this TalkWalker, one of the things I love about TalkWalker, and some more love for TalkWalker here, one of the things I love about it is it also pulls tweets and Reddit threads and comments as well. I've surprised a few people on Reddit and like deep subreddits that didn't get a lot of play where they mentioned a comment you should read on marketing because I have a TalkWalker thing set up for unmarketing. And I've gone in there with my Stratola Reddit account. I just told about my Reddit account. That's okay. You can go see it. I'm there. Nothing I don't want to reveal on there. So if you go, and I went there and I replied, I'm like, what's up? It's on marketing here. And I've been on Reddit for a long time. And the person freaked out. Oh my God. And I like that. That makes me feel warm and fuzzy. I want to be able to surprise and delight like that. It's a wonderful thing. But TalkWalker is much more effective. This is free. The main TalkWalker service is not. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that, Brianne. Appreciate that. But this is a great resource. Topics, subtopics, put it in here. Get it once a day. You can pick settings just like Google News Alerts, but get those topics and then put them in somewhere and just browse them quickly. I use Jackass Whisper in quotes for this, find out where that phrase is trending and where it goes. And that just keeps me on top of it. And then I find good things. And the good things about doing this and getting this topics incoming to you versus going to search for them all the time is it allows you to do a couple of things with this type of content. It increases your knowledge overall. If you are an expert, not the expert, it's rarely you find the expert. And expert's more inclusive of your industry. The expert means you're saying I am the top. I'm not the anything. I'm an expert in marketing. I am a good speaker. Yeah, but it's not the anything. That's exclusive to me, and I'm not comfortable with that. But it increases your knowledge. The day you think you should stop learning because you know everything is the day you really know nothing. Continual learning, continual staying on top of it, especially in marketing spaces and everything changing. You don't want to get complacent with your knowledge. You want to get overconfident with it, but with enough confidence to be able to speak about these things. So not only does it help your own knowledge, it gives you stuff that you can share, but also stuff you can use in your own content as well when it comes to a newsletter, a podcast. Literally, one of the reasons why we did the podcast was it kept us on top of current events in business. Because before, it's a mad rush when it comes to books every year to 18 months with, many books we put out. It was almost every year, every 18 months that Allison was writing these books coming out. And we'd gather content ideas for a book, and then it would be, we'd do it together, content, plan out the stuff. Allison would then start writing it, and then we'd stop looking for content for a year and a half. But with the show, one of the things I loved about it, we had a weekly show coming out and always looking for content. So it put it on my radar. It opened my brain and opened my eyes to the point that Unbranding, our book Unbranding, this book literally is the 100 best stories out of the 1,000 we brought up on the show. That's the whole book. Allison took all the stories, the 1,000 stories we covered. We picked the most 100 that might resonate. It's 100 branding lessons for the age of disruption. That's all from stories from the show. And then she started interviewing people from the stories and fleshing it out. But that content, that was all built. All that content was found through newsletters and talk walker alerts and our audience and our community sending us stuff, us finding stuff, people approaching us at events. That's where that came out of. Literally, this book is a curation of content. That's how this came out. You can only come up with new organic content so often, especially for books. I don't want filler. I want all killer, no filler. Sum 41 album. What's up? Shout out to Whitby in Ajax, Ontario, where the band's from. So that's it. Okay, we're almost done here. Don't worry. My God, we're going to go 2 hours. Woo! Getting the reps in, trying the content out. That's how we do. Here's what I do then. Once I find these articles, once I look at the Hustle and Amber's newsletter and Rohit's and everybody's stuff, Scott Monty's got a great newsletter as well. Jay Bear at Commits and Convert has great stuff. Brienne just signed up for yours, so keep it coming. Alexa's stuff is great. So all of those, right? You take that, you put it in there, you find it. And then the ones that are articles that resonate with me, I use Pocket as my app for it. I got a Chrome browser plugin. I got it on my phone. So I find an article. Maybe I don't have time to read the whole thing there, but on Pocket, I'll tag it. And then I'll tag it with Unpodcast, which is stories we think will be great for the show. I used to just have a notepad list of this, but now I pull up Unpodcast. Here's the latest 6 stories, and I have about 600 in there on Pocket about that we can go back into and find. The problem isn't all the time right now is finding it. It's organizing it and then picking the certain things. Get that inspiration board for you. Get that something out there. This is like my own Pinterest board to me of content. And I haven't been on Pinterest in a long time, but like this is what it is. And I go and it's like Flipboard, same idea. Just going in there and saying, okay, this, and this works really well. And that's what I love about this type of stuff. So that's that content. And this is the content that doesn't get me going. This is just the ones that don't, that kind of die. That in the moment is, people making pictures of themselves with quotes from themselves with their name on it, from their account with their name on it. Like we get it. We get it. Rick says, great process flow. What would I do with all my open tabs on my desktop? I use Pocket. Oh, don't worry. I still have 45 tabs open. You never get away from that. You never get away from that. This is good here. Don says the thing I find is when people. Sorry, I'll bring a quote up again on here. The thing I find is when people give the good stuff, you almost feel guilty that you haven't paid for it. You build your reputation by giving real value. Yeah. If you feel guilty not paying for this right now, you can just send me money. I don't care. But that's it. Exactly right. That's how it is. You want to give, give, and give. And so it's a no-brainer. And that's one of the things with what we do. And what I do right now is giving all this away, showing it then is when we launch the Academy, we hope it will be a no-brainer for a lot of people. We don't want to hide everything behind the gate. We don't want to hide it behind the curtain and just say, well, you hope it's good. I want to show you the kind of stuff we look at and talk about. But these type of things, like literally chocolate or vanilla, was a strategy I read in somebody's workshop about getting engagement. That's hollow. Engagement for engagement's sake does nothing. It can actually exhaust your real audience, the ones you really want to resonate with. I don't want to be the 17,000th person to hop on pick the emotion here, and then it tells you what age group you are, or what year you started working, right? That type of thing, just to get. Now, if you want to do it for fun because you want some ego growth on it, okay, fine, go do it. But this is not long-term stuff. This is not how you build this stuff. It's not how you grow it. Okay? And my final thing I want to make sure is understand and bring this point home. If you see content that resonates with you, find the person that created it, especially if it's art. And I'm including photography and art. This illustration, which is still going around LinkedIn today, is actually this. It's Liz and Molly. But this is what's going mostly viral because somebody chopped it. The artist being so kind and wonderful only put it in the margin just for some jackass to chop it and not want to give you credit. Use something like TinEye, do a reverse image search. It shows you results. I found the original. You put it out there. If you're not giving credit, you're taking it. All right. Taking us out of here with a little more, AidenTaylorMusic.com, our oldest son, who's about to turn 24. It's his birthday soon. You need music for your stuff, for your podcast, for your show, for your gram, for whatever it is. Aiden is so much cooler than I am. He can get you whatever you need, whatever you want. Go check him out. This is called Sweet Pea. This is one of his lo-fi slow jams. Thank you all for spending time with me. If anybody made it this whole time, well done. I couldn't sit through all this. If you just joined it here, you're late. Don't worry, this is staying up. You can watch it, rewatch it anytime. No charge, no fee, no hassle. Love talking about this stuff. Love working through it for the Academy. If you do want to learn more about the Unmarketing Academy, you can go to unmarketing.com, unnewsletter.com, unmarketingacademy.com. It just all goes. Just sign up for the newsletter. The unnewsletter, you'll be noticed in the launch everywhere else. Thank you, Tim. You're awesome. Can't say that enough about you. Always thank you for your support. Thank you, Brianne. Love the slow jam. Me too. And thank you all. By the way, everybody, you're still on here right now, and all my regulars, by the way. Next Wednesday, same bad time, same bad channel. Next Wednesday, we're going to talk about PR, sponsorships, partnerships, and influencers. It's going to be a freaking blast. I'm really looking forward to that. How do you find out about it? Well, make sure on here, we're going to set up a post. We'll do the get reminder. But next Wednesday, noon Eastern Standard Time, we're going to rip the lid off of this, talk about influencers and my hate of influencers. I don't hate influencers. I hate people who hate influencers. We'll talk about that next week. Love y'all. Thanks so much for hanging out. Thank you for being part of this and giving me a platform to speak to you all. Be kind to yourself first. This is all too much. It's too much. Be kind to yourself first. Don't force content. Don't do it because somebody else says you should. Trust your gut. Go with your grain. See you next week, y'all. Take care.